Let's go to Tampa. Let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Houston Texans 20-19 and improved to 2-0 on the season in the Monday night matchup in Houston for the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, he went 25 of 38. He threw for 215 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 33 rushing yards as well for the Texans. C.J. Stroud, he went 13 for 24. He threw for 207 passing yards, 1 touchdown. So, when I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, obviously, so far this season, they are 2-0 on the season. And they had 2 big wins in the fourth quarter, one against the Atlanta Falcons in week 1 and another game against the Houston Texans in week 2. And so when I look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are legit Super Bowl contenders in the NFC. And when I look at their roster, obviously, in the backfield, you got Bucky Irvin, okay? You got Rachaad White, a terrific tandem in the backfield. Bucky Irvin and Rachaad White are 2 of the most electrifying running backs we have in the NFL. At receiver, you have Mike Evans, one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history. I believe he's a receiver that we really, really underappreciate. But make no mistake about it, Mike Evans is big time, and he's one of the greatest receivers we have in the NFL. We have Emeka Egbuka now at the receiver position for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's a rookie. I believe he has tremendous upside. Remember, he went to Ohio State. He was balling at the Ohio State University, and they're going to get back Chris Godwin at some point this season. You still got Tez Johnson in that receiver room. So I love their receivers. I love their tight end and K. Otten as well. So I love the Buccaneers skill position players. Okay. I love Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. And I believe the Buccaneers have one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL. Make no mistake about it. This team is stacked offensively and they can score points with the best of them. And I like their head coach in Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles has done a tremendous job at improving his time management as a head coach. That was one of the issues that Todd Bowles had previously when he was the head coach in New York, I believe. I believe he was the previous head coach with the Jets. And he had issues at clock management. And he's done a tremendous job at fixing those issues. And so I believe when you look at the NFC, I believe it's the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. And a tier below that, you have teams like the LA Rams, the Washington Commanders, the Detroit Lions, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think it's Packers, Eagles. That's the top tier teams in the NFC. And then a tier below that, you have teams like the Rams, the Lions, the Commanders, and the Buccaneers. They deserve to be in that conversation because I believe that they can score points in bunches, and they have a really, really good quarterback in Baker Mayfield, who I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But I love their skill position players in Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka, and even in Chris Godwin. He's going to return back from his dislocated ankle. Remember Chris Godwin? He had a season-ending injury last year. And when Chris Godwin is healthy, Chris Godwin is one of the best receivers alongside of a Mike Evans in the NFL. And I love their playmakers they even have on the defensive side of the ball. Okay, defensively, you still got Vita Vea up front. You got Levante David at the linebacker position. They did sign Hassan Riddick in free agency to help that pass rush. And in the secondary, you got Antoine Winfield Jr., okay? You still got Jamel Dean. And Todd Bowles, his signature is defense. So yes, I believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are legitimate Super Bowl contenders, but I don't think they're on the level of the Packers or the Eagles yet. But I could see the Buccaneers possibly knocking off the Eagles or the Packers in the playoffs if the Packers or the Eagles are not playing their best football. So this Buccaneers team is legit. Now, let's talk about Baker Mayfield. And obviously, when you look at Baker Mayfield, I'm thinking about relationships and marriages. We've all been in relationships and marriages, and they always say, you never know what you had until it's gone. And the reason why that phrase is comparable to the situation involving Baker Mayfield is because I remember Baker Mayfield being drafted in Cleveland. His rookie season, he led all rookies in passing touchdowns with 27 touchdowns thrown. And then his third year, he leads the Browns to the playoffs. They beat the Steelers and they advance to the divisional round of the playoffs. And then by year 5, they were ready to get rid of Baker Mayfield. Remember Baker Mayfield, he didn't have the best relationship with OBJ. OBJ publicly and his father publicly said they wanted Baker Mayfield out of Cleveland. And so the Browns, they decided to move off of Baker, and Baker goes to Tampa. And he replaces Tom Brady in Tampa. And in his first season with the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, over 4,000 yards passing. He follows that up with a tremendous season last year, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 4,500 passing yards. He was balling last year. And just to give everyone some insight on Baker Mayfield, this is since the beginning of last season. Incompletion percentage. Baker Mayfield, he completes 70% of his passes. That's ranked third in the NFL. He averages 281 yards per game. That's ranked second in the NFL. He has 63 20 yards or more completions. That's ranked fourth in the NFL. He has 49 total touchdowns. That's ranked second in the NFL. His passer rating is 105.9. That's ranked fourth in the NFL. And when you look at his numbers overall, since 2023, he has the most passing yards, the most passing touchdowns. He has the second best completion percentage, and he has the third best quarterback rating. And so Baker Mayfield has went to Tampa Bay and established himself as a bona fide top 10 quarterback. And you can make a legitimate argument for Baker Mayfield being in that conversation with the Jalen Hurts of the world, the Matthew Staffords of the world, the Jaden Daniels of the world. That's how great Baker Mayfield has played since he's been the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the reason why I brought up you never know what you have until it's gone is because think about the Cleveland Browns situation right now at quarterback. They don't have a quarterback because they have Joe Flacco starting games for them right now. And we all know Joe Flacco is not the future franchise quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And they're going to experiment at some point this season with Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. But you know who's not experimenting with their quarterback? It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because Baker Mayfield has went down to Tampa, and now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are his football team. It's his division in the NFC South. It's his football team with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's his city in Tampa Bay. And he is their leader, and he is their undisputed most consistent player offensively. And so the Cleveland Browns organization and Cleveland Browns fans, They have to be sick to their stomachs watching Baker Mayfield ball out week in and week out. This has been consistent since he's been in Tampa Bay. And over the last 2 seasons, he has elevated into that top 6 quarterback in the NFL conversation. He really, really has. And so for me, I believe that not only are the Bucs legitimate contenders in the NFC South and the favorites in the NFC South, they are legitimate Super Bowl contenders in the entire NFL. And I think the Buccaneers are a top 10, maybe even a top 5 team in the NFL. Seriously. Outside of Green Bay, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Baltimore, Tampa Bay has been the most consistent team so far this year. And they own the NFC South. So, yes, I believe that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. And yes, I believe Baker Mayfield is a top 6/top 5 quarterback playing right now in the NFL.